Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Stellaris and the Biogenesis expansion. So now we finished up that Galactic Civilization 4 series, we're picking up with this one where we left off. Now we've got all of our scientists currently busy researching anomalies and also working on some of these archaeological sites. And once we finish up with this anomaly, which remember that's a level 10 anomaly, so it's going to take him a really long time. I think it was 1200 days total, but he is 81% done, now 82% done. And once he finishes that up, and unfortunately Crimson Feather just died, we'll have to take a look at that. But once he finishes up with that, remember we're going to be sending that scientist over to start scanning these locations, and maybe we can expand our empire over this way, so we'll be on both sides of that fallen empire. Our great commander Crimson Feather has passed away at the age of 89 while in service to our empire. The people clamor for a memorial service to honor this leader's contribution to the Crimson Startarchy. A grand event will give everyone closure and bolster our ideals. So we can have a private precision, or we can go with this option, a grand parade. That's because we're militarists, and we're going to go with that. We can't just keep it private, considering how important Crimson Feather is to our empire. So we're going to go with this option here. It's going to cost us 200 energy. Unfortunately, it does mean we're going to have to sell a few resources, because we now have a low energy stockpile. Remember, we're losing energy in that, and in food. So the next event is a distinguished farewell. A huge parade of troops and a flyover by national forces marked the arrival of Crimson Feather's casket to his final resting place. His body was fired into the nearest star during a society-wide broadcast. The departed leader's personal strategies and logbooks will become a part of the curriculum for the next generation of cadets. So we can say worthy send-off here, and this is going to give us the military funeral modifier for 5 years, increasing our unity and our military ship build speed by 15%. So that's going to be pretty helpful, because remember we're still trying to get those destroyers built in the first flock. I think we're just kind of short on the alloys at the moment. So we have to take a look at our different options for who's going to replace Crimson Feather. So there's two things to consider here. The first is the age of these candidates. So Grey Plume is the youngest, while Grey Claw and Iron Wing are both pretty old in their 70s and 80s. So we might not want to pick them, because we're going to be back here in just a few years, as we'll likely lose both of those characters, unfortunately. The other thing to consider is how we're using them. So like Iron Wing, makes sense to appoint her considering how important the Admiralty is in our empire. However, then we'd lose her as the commander of the first flock, and again, she's also quite old. So we were going to select the Admiral, a younger one than Grey Claw would make a lot of sense. And also he's got those leader traits that you only get if he's in the council. While her traits, the majority of them are for her fleet. So I think it makes more sense for her to continue leading the first flock. Could also do Grey Plume, since again, Grey Plume, she is the youngest and she does have the leader trait. But I think it makes sense for us to select the Lord High Admiral Grey Claw, so that's who we're going to spend our unity on. Of course, we could just abstain and see who gets selected, but we're going to go ahead and have a say in this. And that will result in Grey Claw becoming our new leader. That means we do have to replace Grey Claw. And there's not a lot of variety with our options. 3 of these characters have the unifier trait, so really wouldn't be helpful unless we put them on a planet as a governor. And then the enlister, this is also a governor or sector trait, which is even less useful. So we could pick either of these 3, and I think we're going to do this character here. She has the Xenophobic ethic, which I think we still have 2 Authoritarians on our council and 1 militarist. And then we have the 1 Xenophobe, so this will get 2 Xenophobes. Just trying to equal it out as much as we can here, and that'll get us a unifier trait. And another advantage of picking her is that she is the youngest of our options. So let's go ahead and hire her. So her new name is going to be Alluring Crest. And as for her first traits, these are all bonuses for the fleet, so aren't going to help as much. We'll just go with the Cautious, I suppose. And then with this one, we can actually get 1, the Defense Engineer, that will affect our empire as long as she's on the council. Because it's at 16.5 thousand, that has decreased since we lost our leader. So I'm hoping, that does stack. And so now it's at 17.1 thousand. So I think our former leader must have had a higher level of that, or some other trait that was boosting the defense platforms. So that gets us back up to 17.1 thousand, so not quite as high as it used to be at like 18 something thousand. We did just finish up the research for the artificial moral codes, decreasing crime and increasing the amenities. So out of our available options, could get the xenobiology. Could also increase the naval capacity, not quite added yet. Could also get the Grand Archive, though again, that's something that will cost us energy, as we talked about before. I think we're going to get the regenerative whole tissue. I really like those. Those are helpful. And we need to fix our energy shortage, so we're going to have to sell some minerals. So we'll sell like 1,000 here, and then we'll buy up some energy. And if we're able to, we'll try and get some more alloys, because we always need more of those. As we're working on building up those destroyers, also trying to get these defensive platforms set up.
Evasive action.
And it looks like we were just attacked again. Alright, so let's take a look at this fleet. It's 3,000 guys. We're going to just turn this down just a bit so we can watch the battle take place. And it looks like we were very easily able to take care of it. I don't even know if we lost any of our defense platforms. We did not. Alright, that's fantastic. So again, we are much more powerful now, as we're not having as much difficulty taking these out, but they do keep increasing in strength, and so we have to make sure we don't just sit idly and not forget that we need to continue to improve that defensive structure. So I wanted to get access to these two minor artifact locations, but we actually can't build in either one of these two locations, and I think that's because the planet has another resource which we don't have the tech to get. So in this case, it's the rare crystals. You need the rare crystal mining, and in this case it's the living metal, so we'd have to get that tech first. And so therefore there's nothing for them to do. We won't destroy them since it's the only one we have. Could just destroy them and build another one once we need them, but let's just move them over here for now. Could also get them moving over in this direction, since eventually we want to get those scanned and maybe get them claimed, but let's see what's over there first. Roman Beak has finally finished up that level 10 anomaly, so this is a precursor one for the Ute. So their satellite was placed in orbit around this planet to commemorate the moment of first contact between their empire and the Yabardini, a contemporary civilization. This event occurred right here in the system and had a profound impact on all levels of Ute society. For over 1 million years, they had thought themselves alone in the galaxy, and the Ute reacted with both awe and horror upon the discovery of sapient alien life. The examining eye has recovered the satellite, which now awaits a full analysis. So we will have to work on that, I guess, before they leave. I guess we could also send that other scientist to do this, because they're coming over here anyways. And, you know, we'll have Grey Plume work on this, though first, let's send this character over to here to start scanning. Though it's not letting us go over here. Well, that's interesting, because I could have swore that we had open borders with them. Well, it looks like the situation has changed. They have closed their borders with us. So that's unfortunate, because going through their space is the only way to get over to the systems that we control. At least until we conquer these guys. Alright, so with that in mind, since we can't go over there, let's just go ahead and research this project. So unfortunately, Roman Beak just retired after serving the Empire for 52 years. So one of our original scientists here. So we're going to need to get rid of this ship rather than hiring another scientist. This will save us and, you know, paying the Unity cost for him. And we just don't really need another scientist. And this is largely because there's not much left to do outside of these anomalies over here, a couple special projects that we have, and then we still have the archaeological dig sites. Now if we lose one of these other two scientists that we have, then we will hire a new one. So another precursor anomaly has been researched. I think that was a level 7 one, so it took a while. And we have another level 3 anomaly in that system. That should be much quicker. But the partial remains of an ancient Hyatt starship have been found in the high orbit over this planet. Initial analysis conducted by the ISS Study and I indicate that the vessel may have served as a colony ship. Even cruiser-sized Hyatt ships are typically crewed by only 1 or 2 individuals given the immense size of their bodies, but this hulk has more than a dozen cryopods attached, each containing withered exoskeletons from what must have been Hyatt colonists. So this is going to get us the specimen artifact of the Hyatt cryopod. So So that would increase habitability by 5%. But yeah, look at those upkeep costs, guys. 8.61. Some of these are more cheaper. But yeah, overall, you can see how expensive these would be. We also got our next tradition, and we're going to get the Fortress Doctrine. This will increase our starbase capacity, not that we really need that at the moment. However, the starbase upgrade cost being reduced by 50%, that is significant. Also gives a defense against hostile operations for the Sabotage Starbase facility. So yeah, upgrading these will now be quite a bit cheaper. Now I did spend all of our alloys. We're working on getting the fleet here fully built out. I believe, yeah, we have the 3 additional destroyers. Yeah, we already have them constructed here, so that's their current strength at 4.7 thousand. Not too bad at all. And now we're going to go ahead and work on building up this starbase. So you can see it's going to cost us 90 alloys to get that done. We have 528, and so we could go ahead and improve this location as well. And they actually can't get through this system here because of all of these alien hives. This is just an abandoned amusement park. We've seen this one many times before. It gives you some nice society and engineering research. And then also we got that specimen. So the scientist over here has several things to work on. They'll first research that project. And I guess we'll send them over here, but we might have something that happens after that. I guess we'll build another one over here just because that's really our focus, is these defensive star bases. And so we can do them much cheaper. They don't have as high maintenance either. And we just don't have very many at the moment. We'll eventually want to build one right here, though we are friendly with them. Yellow Eyes just got their negative trait, so it's not as much of a priority to get that built. Let's focus on the ones in this area. And we are stacking up on the influence, so we're going to want to make our claims against them, since we're going to be going to war with them soon. I'm hoping that we'll be able to get it done in this episode, guys. Now, getting this system here is going to be a pain. We probably won't want to claim that just yet. Yeah, we can't really claim much, unfortunately. We'll have to wait until the war starts. But yeah, getting into this system could be problematic. I don't know that we'll have to fight them all at once, because they're asteroids, so I think you fight them one at a time. But in the middle of a war, that's going to be a bit of an issue, guys. So we'll certainly want to go through this area here, conquer these systems. So we did finish up with these stations, so we'll need to get them some defenses. We're just going to get 2 gun batteries here, since it's going to be focused on defense. And we'll also reduce the shield hit points for enemy ships. Eventually we'll want to get them some defense platforms, but first let's upgrade the other stations that we built. So this is another one that we're just going to get the gun batteries, and we'll get that disruption field generator as well. And then with this one here, going to be a little bit different, because we're only going to get the 1 gun battery, and we're going to get a shipyard so that they can replace any ships that we lose in the battle. And we're also going to get them the crew quarters to reduce the dock ship upkeep, since we're going to send the first flock over there now. Get them moving in that direction so we can declare war as soon as we're ready to, which I think our fleet strength should be good. I don't know. Let's just take a look. Yeah, we don't know enough about them. Now we could build them up a bit higher. Probably should. It's always worth doing if you got the alloys, which at this moment we do not. Oh yes, and then the other thing I wanted to do is we need to select our first specialization for Aerithal. And we're going to go ahead and do the archives. I like this one because it gives you the research and it also gives you unity. So a nice mix of bonuses as you increase the city district size. We finally finished up that council agenda. That's the impenetrable border. So the starbase hull points is going to go from 5% to 20%. So that's extremely significant. Also, we can upgrade it for much cheaper. And I'm wondering if that will apply to the Starlit Citadel. Not that we can upgrade it, because remember we don't have the gases to do it. But this does last for 10 years, so maybe we'll get it in time. And also this is going to help us in the war, because our war exhaustion gain will be further reduced. So the next one we're going to get is expand the council to unlock that last counselor slot. Yeah, we should see the strength of this increase. Maybe not. Still sitting at 17.5 thousand there. We were just attacked again as well, so they're at 3 points. I don't know, maybe it's 3.2 before the battle actually began there. Also, our leader, Greyclaw, just recently appointed, has leveled up, and so we can choose which veteran level we want. Obviously makes the most sense, since they can't lead a fleet, that we should instead have him get the strategist, so that he can get the counselor bonuses. So this is the military ship build speed plus 10%. And we also finished up this battle. Again, didn't lose any of our defense platforms. Alright, excellent. And unfortunately, Iron Wing just died right before we're about to begin this war. I'm just building up the fleet, getting them up to 10 total destroyers. And so we're just waiting on getting a bit more alloys. I think we have one constructed at the moment. So I was just waiting on that. And then Iron Wing died. So very unfortunate. We're going to erect an appropriate memorial here. So this is the Authoritarian option. And thus this will result in worker pop resource output being increased, as well as the monthly unity. And now we're going to need to get a new commander, both for the Minister of Defense position and just to lead the fleet. Now, we actually have somebody who could lead the fleet, because we could use this Baron. Now, he is more focused on the leader trait bonuses, and we don't want him in the council since we're xenophobic. Would grant some bonuses to the fleet, really just this one here. The ship weapons damage and the tracking, as well as the accuracy. And I guess they're level 4, so I could just appoint Baron Victor temporarily while we train up a new leader. Let's go ahead and get a new commander hired now, see what our current options are. Probably should go with another unyielding commander. This is Plume of Green, 36 years old. So one of the younger characters available. There's also a Void Hunter here. Cautious character, doesn't really fit us, or the Butcher. That's more for a general leading troops on the ground. So I guess Plume of Green is the best option. We'll have to rename that character, but let's go ahead and hire them first. So this character's name is going to be Steel Talon. That was a suggestion in the comments. And rather than have this character both be in the council and leading our fleet, I think we're going to have them just lead the fleet so they can focus on those traits. Because if you have them doing both, then you got to figure out what's the best thing to do. Get bonuses for the actual fleet, or get a bonus that'll apply to your entire empire. So since Steel Talon is just going to be leading the first flock, the best option would be the Void Hunter to increase the sublight speed and the ship weapons range. Also, you get more damage to space fauna, though I don't know that we'll be fighting those anytime soon. And then we can get our next level up. Could get the Void Hunter 2, and I suppose that's probably the best option. And it's not really the trait I'd want to put on this character, but that's what we're getting here, unfortunately. It's not completely useless. You get that increased weapons range, but yeah, honestly, I'd prefer to have a different trait that we can invest in for our main commander. That does mean that our naval capacity has decreased, but that's okay, because we haven't yet assigned a Minister of Defense, and I actually have somebody already set up for that. So this is Crimson Wing. It's a female character, so she's going to be the daughter, at least for our lore. She's the daughter of the famous Crimson Feather, and she's cautious. And what we're going to do is have her be the Minister of Defense, and we'll want to get her some traits first, and these are going to be ones. Well, that figures. She has a much better assortment of traits, because I really like the engineer one for the daily hull and armor regen. So we'll get that, and yeah, she's not getting anything that would help in the council. Unfortunately, could just get the adaptable to increase the leader experience gain. Or could just get the Void Hunter. I might put her in command, honestly, though she does have that cautious, which I would prefer, that we have the unyielding for the ship hull points. You know what, we might just let her lead the fleet, which I don't know what we'd do with Steel Talon in that case. Might just hire another character, like Claws of Blue. We'd have to get rid of Steel Talon. I guess we'll just put, since neither one of them are getting any traits that are going to help in the council. Let's just get the Void Hunter here, and Crimson Wing will actually be the leader of the first flock. So I wasn't expecting it to go down that way, but I think she's probably the better option. Just because she has that one engineer trait, which I really like, and cautious isn't bad. You get the ship weapons range, and then also you're more likely to disengage. And then I suppose, even though it doesn't have any bonuses, we could just put Steel Talon in command here. Though I was going to use Baron Victor in charge. His overall traits aren't actually that good outside of the bonus here. The ship weapons damage is pretty helpful with the tracking and accuracy. I think I'd prefer to train up Crimson Wing. We've earned enough unity to get another tradition. We're going to get the resistance is frugal. So this will increase the defense army health, but the main bonus you're getting is defense armies now produce unity. So really nice, because now I'm able to get the rest of these a little bit faster. And I think we are ready to declare war, guys. So we're building the last destroyer. We're at 72%. And then the first flock will be out there full strength. I mean, you could build them up a bit stronger, but we don't have a lot of naval capacity anyways. And I think this is probably good enough. And we're not going to wait for that destroyer to be constructed. We'll just go and declare war. And we'll just wait till we actually invade. And I'm hoping this will result in them bringing their fleet over here. And we can fight them on the defense, though maybe they'll go into that system instead, which I did not build any defense platforms, unfortunately, so we do need to get that taken care of. It's 2.3 thousand. That's really not too bad, honestly. So we can get one thing built here. We'll get the gun class, I suppose. So we'll get that started up. And then now let's go ahead and declare war. That we spent our alloys that have available. I think it's probably strong enough. I don't know. We're going to be going on the offensive, so I'm not too worried about what they're going to do against us. And we're going to be conquering all of our claims. Won't be inviting other attackers. Doesn't look like anybody would agree anyways. Alright, so this is a war against our rival, the Voor. And again, we're going to wait until we launch our attack. Oh, we just completed that task there as well. Until after we finish the construction of this destroyer, and it's damn near done. So with that done, now let's go ahead and invade into their space here. And hopefully our fleet is more powerful than theirs at 4.7 thousand. And a new leader, Crimson Wing, the daughter of the famous Crimson Feather. You know what, I kind of like that she's a fleet commander instead, though it would have been fitting her being on the council. Let's take a look at this defensive platformer. So it's just 1,000 strength, so not too bad. Also just analyze that debris. That's from that previous invasion that we faced. Already got the science ship assigned to something else. Alright, so with this battle done, we did not lose any ships. So we're going to go ahead and continue our advance into their space, go after this location next. And we will have to make claims as we go, since we couldn't see all those systems just yet. And so we'll just have to claim them as we're able to. And we want to do that one first, just because we are stacking up on that influence. So that was their starbase. That's what they had, guys. 1,000 strength. Wasn't really able to do anything to us. So this one will be really easy. And we'll have to see if they have any other defenses out here to stop us. Obviously their fleet will be coming at some point. Now we do not have any armies for invasions. I don't even know if we're going to be able to do that yet.
Inbound message traffic.
It depends on where their planets are. So it looks like they have a planet here that we'd have to conquer. So just take a look at that. So we would have to get some armies built up if we wanted to do that. We still got these systems to take over while we get those built. And we also got a vent here about the caravan fleets, so they've arrived. You say, what can they offer us? They'd give us a level 3 scientist. That's really not that helpful. Not at the moment anyways. We also finished up the technology for the regenerative hull tissues. Alright, so we need to get those added on to our ships. It's a shame that we didn't get that before the war. You know, there's always something you could be waiting on though. We're going to get the doctrine fleet support for the increased naval capacity, since we are very close to our current limit at the moment. So I'll add those to all of our designs here soon. Let me get first flock sent over to this location to get that seized. And then yeah, we also want to build up an army, which I guess our closest planet is our capital. I suppose Talakar is like one system closer, but it's fine. We'll go ahead and build them here in Carnethi. So I don't know how many we're gonna need. Let's build 5 for right now. I don't think that's going to be enough. Let me just take a look at what their current strength is on this planet here. Kind of gauge. It's 201. Okay, so I'm not sure how strong our armies are. We'll have to see what the strength of 5 is, and then we'll determine if we need to increase the army size. We could also just bombard them to, you know, decrease their overall strength there. So yeah, we got to go into our fleet management ship designer here, and we're gonna have to change up all of our designs to actually make use of that new component. So like with our talons here, we'll want to get the regenerative hull tissues. We're actually behind on armor, unfortunately. Really, there's a lot of things we're behind in, because we've just been focusing on getting the UV lasers, getting as high in that as we can. So let's get the regenerative hull tissue here. I think everything else is good. I believe that's all we're having to change on these ships, is getting that regenerative hull tissue. All right, so I got those on the defensive platforms as well. And I suppose the first thing we should do, since we're always being attacked, is go ahead and upgrade all of these. That'll cost us 220 of our alloys. But yeah, we'll have to upgrade the fleet as well. Because yeah, they could have been repairing. You can see that we have damage to our armor and stuff here. And did get that Starlit Citadel fully upgraded. All right, excellent. So I'm wondering if that improved its overall strength at all. It's a 17.3 thousand. So maybe by a slight amount. All right, so with that taken over, let's go over to this system next. Still haven't seen their fleet. Not entirely sure where they're at. Maybe they don't even have any interest in fighting us because they know that they're so much weaker, but generally they'll even suicide their fleets if they have to, in order to try and, you know, engage you and protect their space. Maybe they're just on the other side of the Empire? I don't know. Not entirely sure. It could take them a long time to get over here, but yeah, we've already conquered all this, and we still haven't seen them yet. Now, these archaeological dig sites that we've been working on, I've been skipping through them, not showing them on the episodes, this one and the last one, simply because they're two of the older ones we've already seen in past series, and they're also ones that aren't like the most interesting in my opinion. Let's go and claim all these systems. We'll wait to claim that one. I want to make sure that we're able to get that one and this one over here, and we got a lot of influence, so it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they haven't done anything against us. Like I said, it's probably just them taking time to get over here. So there's the caravan. We did get the armor. All right, excellent. So I have to just keep adding stuff to our ships and our defensive platform. Just kind of a pain here. I guess it's good that we haven't upgraded the fleet just yet. All right, so the next thing we're going to get, we could get the synthetic crystal plants. Was it the gas or the crystals that we needed? I feel like it might have been actually the crystals. It was crystals. Okay, so I had said gases early in the episode, but it's crystals that we need. So therefore, it makes a lot of sense for us to get the synthetic crystal plants so that we can finally upgrade that. So we're going to start working on it. It's going to take 59 months, so it's going to take a little while. Now, before we upgrade our fleet and our designs for the ships and the defense platforms, let's get this next tech here, the cold fusion reactors. I know the armor doesn't take energy, but if we're gonna have to make any adjustments, I want to do it all at once. I don't have to keep popping in there, because we've already done it twice. I don't know where these guys are going. Going to trade with the alien hive here. Alright, so we finished up this battle. Still haven't lost any of our ships just yet. That archaeological dig site is finished as well. So that gets you the harmonious crew, increasing the sublight speeds. That's a really nice bonus. It's kind of a more boring archaeological dig event chain in my opinion. Well, I don't have these guys selected. Yeah, it's one of the more boring ones. However, it does get you a really nice bonus there. So we're going to go ahead and excavate that dig site next, which I think is our last one. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like we've done all of the dig sites. And then our other scientist has just been working on the Hyatt precursor anomalies or projects. And I've been using the minor artifacts to reveal those. So I decided to go ahead and upgrade all our stuff with the armor, since it is going to be 2 years before we get the new reactors. And I did want to address one thing, because I know it's going to eventually be brought up, because in past series it often is. Why don't I use the autocomplete rather than, you know, setting this up and building each one myself, when you can just click this button and you can see it upgrades on its own? Well, that's because it often upgrades stuff that I don't want to. So particularly in the case of a platform, you know, it puts that fusion reactor in there, which I know having extra power does give some small bonuses, but in my opinion, they're not worth the extra cost of the new reactor. So if you just take a look here, it's going to cost you 6 more, and that's for each one that you build. And the bonuses you're getting for the extra power is really, really small. And so that's the reason why I don't do that. And there's other times where you don't want to upgrade something. It's not just the reactors in the platforms. There's other times I don't want something upgraded for whatever reason. And that's the reason why I don't do it. So I know it's kind of a pain going through that way, but I don't mind. We did finish up with the Hyatt precursor event chain. So we located their home system. So that's going to end the event chain, and then add a new system down here. So we're going to want to send this science ship, which is Grey Plume, our head of research, to go ahead and survey the system. And they'll work on that project not far away. So they'll take care of that. And then with our fleet, we'll need to get them upgraded, but we're going to first let them finish up what they're doing here. I guess they're just destroying... Yeah, they already destroyed the starbase there. I don't know if they're just gauging the construction ships. Well, it seems it's not fighting the construction ship for whatever reason. Not sure why they're not attacking them, but let's make them attack. Guess they're outside of our range or something. Alright, so with all this area done, I don't want to attack here until after we upgrade that armor. So let's send them over here for now. We did get that research done to increase our naval capacity. And next, we're going to increase the lifespan of our leaders, since we've had a lot of them dying or retiring lately, so I think that would be useful. But the reason why we're not going to upgrade them just yet, because I do want to focus on the Starlit Citadel, since you never know when we might be attacked again, so it doesn't take them long to get that repaired, get those upgraded, I should say. And of course, our fleet needs to travel all the way back over to here in order to upgrade. So let me take a look at their strength. They're at 17.5 thousand, so it increased it by a little bit, but not a significant jump there. We could also upgrade this one platform right here. It looks like their fleet has finally arrived. Strength of 142. I don't know if they're just now building this. Yeah, they might just be building this up now. Alright, we'll go and attack them over there. Probably not going to go any further though. Again, let's get them repaired and get this location.
Engaging enemy station.
I suppose we could also attack here. Yeah, just to see if we can't destroy that colony ship and the science ship and see what's all over here, and that'll allow us to claim those locations too as we get further influence. Of course, we can't actually conquer any of those until after we take over the planet there. We're just taking a look at our transport fleet. It is done. And that does not seem like it's going to be strong enough. 124 strength. Yeah, definitely not going to be enough unless we bombard them. And, you know, that obviously has its own negatives. So let's just go ahead and recruit 5 more. Also, you'll notice the amenities is really low here in the capital. So I went ahead and used our last slot here to get the hollow theaters to get a bit more amenities, because we have used all of our districts, guys. Can't build any further, unfortunately. So there's really not much we could do besides getting the building there, and then we have one building slot here until we get these specializations and open up those building slots, which we don't have the tech yet for those. We can go and upgrade here, so let's go and do that. Clearly I've been neglecting our planets here. So let's get a research lab constructed here, and then over here we could use another generator district, so we'll get one of those. And then we'll also place a monument here to get a bit more unity, though that won't provide any jobs. These guys are doing okay for now. But yeah, the war has distracted me a little bit. Right, we've gotten that system partially controlled. Still haven't lost a single ship, but we also haven't engaged any real military fleets just yet. So we'll go over here and then we'll get them repaired, or I should say upgraded. So this is that last archaeological dig site. Never forget. Only through archaeological proof and imagination can one depict a once flourishing civilization on the now desolate surface of whatever that planet is called. So unkind has the passage of time been that even the sturdiest buildings have been grinded down to little more than dust. But from deep underground a strange signal is pulsing, a mysterious beacon yearning for investigation and uncovering. So tell them to keep digging there.
Engaging enemy station.
Alright, so this is the last location that we're going to take over, and then we'll go ahead and get our ships repairing. So that science ship did escape, but still have not found. Let's get these guys upgraded. And we don't want them to go that way, so we're going to have to manually control this, because that's the quickest way, and so we need them to go this way. We finished scanning the Hyatt home system, and we also finished up that project. So we have confirmed that the Hyatt Majoris was the original homeworld of the Hyatt. The planet suffered extensive orbital bombardment roughly 4 million years ago. Twisted metal skeletons are all that remain of the massive arcologies that once covered the surface. From what we can piece together, it seems that the Hyatt spent the better part of the million years searching local space in vain for signs of intelligent alien life. When they finally encountered the Aberdini, a young race that had only recently achieved interstellar travel, their alien psychology was a tremendous shock. The Hyatt leadership reached a consensus the Aberdini had to be eradicated before they grew too powerful. A massive surprise attack was launched, which was beaten back at great cost for both sides. Despite their young age, the Aberdini were already experimenting with technologies the Hyatt had never considered, and eventually they gained the upper hand. After less than a decade of warfare, the 2 million year old Hyatt empire was utterly destroyed. Alright, so this is going to get us the relic Hyatt cryo core. We'll also get a ton of minor artifacts, though that's something we are just absolutely stacked on with nothing really to do outside of, well, I guess you could do this. This is something new, wasn't available before. So we'll go ahead and do that. So that's a special project, which we want to make sure we use these, because otherwise we're not getting the 1500, because we're already at the cap, or we're at the cap. It's 3000. And we could just keep on doing these artifact analysis. That's what I've been doing, guys. Which just gets us new artifacts. We can actually sell those. And energy has been an issue for us, guys. Unfortunately, I allowed that to get all the way down to 0. And now we have a critical resource shortage. Now I've already bought some more. However, we're still getting all these penalties. The ship weapons damage and sublight speed are significant, guys, and really hurting us in the war. That's like the worst thing that you could have happen. So that was a significant mistake on my part. We're also getting increased unity. We're getting a ton of energy, minerals, and of course we've already seen that we have the minor artifact action unlocked there. So now we need to secure this location because it's absolutely fantastic. Look at all those resources, guys. So yeah, we definitely want to get control of that. The science ship with Grey Plume in it, there's not really anything for them to work on, unfortunately. And you can see all throughout our space, we've analyzed everything. There's not any more archaeological dig sites. Really nothing to be done here. I suppose what we could do, send them over here so that once we actually get a fleet battle, which I assume at some point we're gonna have to fight somebody. Here's a fleet, 1018 strength, so not very significant, but then we'll need to scan their debris, so we'll put the science ship in place to do that. And then we also got new tradition, all that unity we just received from finishing up the event chain. So next we're going to get the Never Surrender. This will decrease the damage we get from orbital bombardments. Also, we won't get as much war exhaustion, and hostile claim influence costs will go up, so it'll be more expensive for enemies to claim our systems. And we're going to be getting the next one in just 7 months, which that's the last one, isn't it? Yeah, last one, so we're going to get to those bonuses and the finishing ones. Alright, so that's fantastic. Alright, so our fleet is far enough this way we can now tell them to upgrade, and they won't go all the way around. So that cost a lot of alloys, but we actually have a lot. So we could always add to the fleet. So yeah, we'll probably want to do that as soon as they're done upgrading. But we'll be able to send them because we'll want to, because you see they're currently attacking us now.
Reports a new
Although, it seems like they're just going to skip. What are they doing? Well, that's strange.
spaceport reports enemy.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why they're skipping everything. Maybe they just wanted to go after this location first. We did finish up the research for that reactor, right when I finally got my fleet over there to, you know, upgrade them. So I guess we'll have to make another adjustment to them. I suppose we should do that now. And probably just cancel their current order, because I would assume, yeah, they just started. Yeah, so what we want to do is let's just stop that. And now that I've changed up the designs, we'll set them up to upgrade again with the new designs. Alright, so we have the next Never Forget event. A sudden and undeniable sense of mortality has mysteriously crept upon the excavation team as they get closer to the beacon in the depths. As more dirt and rock is removed, an unescapable notion lingers in the back of everyone's mind. Life is fleeting. Someday, all this is going to end. So that's quite mysterious. See, I'm not entirely sure. I guess they decided to focus on this location first. It's going to be rough for them. I think they'll win it, but they're going to take casualties in it. And the reason why I took all this over was simply so that they didn't go into the space I care more about. Now, we are getting a non-aggression pact offer from the Decran United Nations. Let me take a look at who these guys are, or where they're at. Okay, so they're going to be neighboring us. And there's not really anywhere else for us to expand. Although, I think these guys here, who we also have a non-aggression pact, okay, they're a vassal of this mega corporation. I was thinking it might have been these guys, but it's not them. So I'm thinking that they would be our next target. I mean, yeah, I don't think we're going to agree to this, because we just don't know who we're going to be fighting. We have to see where our borders are going to end up. We did finish up with those repairs, but we're still upgrading the fleet. That's going to take them a little while to get it done. Great Claw just got his negative trait, which is decreasing our unity. So that's unfortunate, but speaking of unity, we did just get our next tradition. So this bonus here only helps us in a defensive war, so it won't help us in this one. However, now that we've completed the branch, that's going to give us the finisher, which is going to increase our defense platform cap by 50%. So that's really helpful, because we're already at the cap for the Starlit Citadel. And then also our starbase upkeep is going to be reduced by 20%. And then, as we talked about before, this gives us access to the Eternal Vigilance Ascension perk. And so I think that's probably going to be the one that we want to get. Although unfortunately the Ascension Pass have also unlocked. So the Voor Ascension Pass, which that's the one we're going with, Biomorphosis, since that's the focus of this expansion. It's kind of a shame, because I really wanted to get that, but the bonuses that we get for this one are going to be too helpful for us to not get it first. Our star bases will do more damage and have more hull points. The defense platforms also do more damage, and it increases the cap and reduces their upkeep. That's significant. We can get one more commander. Also, we can get another Deep Space Citadel. Or that's a Deep Space Citadel in the system. So you can have like 2 of those? Well, that's interesting. Like in just one system? And then also, one of the more interesting bonuses here is that every 6 months, a defense platform will be built around every starbase, depending on your Eternal Vigilance policy, up to a maximum of 50% capacity. However, I'm not sure if they fixed it yet, where that will actually be used on the Starlit Citadel. We'll have to take a look at that policy. I haven't seen this yet, because I haven't gotten this far in this particular origin. This is it down here. We can't select anything. I think we just need to let a day pass. So we can do the full spending, the half spending, or no spending. With the half spending, you only get it around the bastions. So that's if it's classified as such in here. So like the trade hub wouldn't get it. And then you can also do the full spending, and you'll get the defensive platforms around everything. I'll just do the half spending, because remember, we do have to pay for those. Even though we got the reduced cost for them, it can still really add up, guys. So we're just going to do that. And yeah, it should start building the defense platforms for us. But I'm not sure. I think it just does random ones. Yeah, I believe that's how it works. So that's a little unfortunate. You can't pick which ones you want. But at least you get a good mix of them, which is generally what I do anyways. So basically, our star bases and the Starlit Citadel should be significantly more powerful I mean, this only got up to 18.1 thousand, but remember we also haven't gotten the new defense platforms constructed. Let's go and upgrade the ones we have here. But yeah, we want to see if they'll start building them for us.
Enemy contact.
We currently have 9,
Construction complete.
so we'll see if they build them. But from my understanding, at least the last time I've talked to anybody about it, they were not building them on the Starlit Citadels, only on the Bastions. And that's even if you had the full spending, because it's not considered like a starbase. It's a mega structure. I still feel like they should really adjust that though, because it would make sense. Because I think that one really gels well with this particular origin. So yeah, we're going to get a ton of resources here, guys. So it'll be super helpful. They're attacking us over here now.
Enemy action.
So it looks like their fleet has gotten more powerful. So they're taking back our gains. There's really not much we can do until we get rid of the critical resource shortage, guys. Now you notice that we now have crystals and we can buy those. We should probably buy them while we have the ability to, actually. Because the only reason this is available is because of the rare crystals here, guys. That's the only reason we can get that. Now, given once we win this war, the idea is that we'll still have control of that. But just in case we don't or can't use it because of not having the technology, I would assume you can still get the bonus, because I don't think you need the technology to take advantage of the mine that's there getting the rare crystals. I think you just have to have the technology to build that. So yeah, we should be getting rare crystals now, which means we can now upgrade our Starlit Citadel. I haven't done it yet because I was waiting to get everything researched, because you know we're getting the barrier point defense, and remember, it's not convenient upgrading those. It's very, very costly. And so we want to make sure we wait to do it until we have, you know, whatever we're current researching at the very least. So I'd like to get these ones because these are pretty important for our defenses. I'd also really like to get something for our hangars. So we could do this one here, though honestly I prefer to just get the regular one. Let's get these tiles cleared up. Yeah, we still have those scout ships, which, you know, they're not very good. Just take a look at the situation here. It's almost done. It's going down really fast because we do have so much energy credits. And so once we get rid of that penalty, then we can send our fleet back into battle. But of course it is still upgrading. It's at 95%, so it looks like that's gonna gel well there. Alright, so they're taking back all these systems I worked so hard on doing, but we're gonna have a much more powerful fleet at 5.7 thousand. And we're going to go ahead and get these guys trapped as well, which we do not want to go that way. We want to go this way. And we don't have to worry about them attacking through here, at least hopefully not. Because I assume that would cause them a lot of problems. In fact, I love what they did go through that system. And just considering that our AI, you know, when we try and go this way, it always wants us to go through that system, maybe they will. They'd get wrecked, I think, if they did. We did finish up that archaeological dig site, so it wasn't a very large one. Yeah, they continued to achieve their victories here, taking back their systems. So this is the final event for Never Forget. The source of a signal is an alien tombstone inscribed with strange symbols. The translation is sketchy at best. It speaks of a person of great importance, of a life's work worthy of remembrance and veneration, and of a civilization in mourning. Towards the end, the translation becomes very odd, speaking of grief-induced leakage of bodily fluids and their subsequent dissipation due to weather conditions. Only the very last part was successfully translated, time to die. So it looks like they're dealing with what our civilization has been dealing with recently with the loss of Crimson Feather. So this is going to give us a modifier plus 5% to happiness. Okay, so that's the end, and I don't have anything else for the science ships to do. So let's put them in the capital until we can get through here. Or, you know, find something to scan in this area, which, you know, once we win this war, there might be some things to scan. We need to go ahead and make some more claims. We'll claim this location and this location here. And probably some additional claims. Yeah, whatever we can get here. Of course, now we need to retake all those systems. So we got our first flock heading over there. And we have a suspicious prophet So while observing the local population, so this has to do with the pre-FTL civilization here. Our away team has come across an interesting discovery. The capital city is abuzz with the talk of a chosen one who has reportedly descended from the stars to fulfill an ancient prophecy and lead the Caravex into a new golden age. All of our personnel are accounted for, so whoever it is that is visiting this planet, they are worth investigating further. Alright, so we'll have to take a look at the situation there, which I don't know. I don't know that we need a scientist for that. But yeah, just so you guys can see where they're currently at. They're at low awareness, and they're still in the Stone Age. So it appears that the Voor has attacked through here. Okay, not surprising. And so that will likely result in their destruction. And they'll weaken these guys for us, which is what we're going to do next after we destroy them anyways, because I want to get control of this system. We can activate the new relic that we got. So this costs Unity, and it has a passive effect, which is increasing the development speed for colonies, so not all that helpful, but the energy weapon fire rate is plus 20%, so that's incredibly helpful since we mostly rely on our energy weapons. And the active effect will reduce the ship upkeep by 20%. But of course, by doing that, we're using the Unity. I think it's worth doing in this war though. So let's go ahead and do so, just to reduce the upkeep, since our ships are out fighting and maneuvering. So that'll save us in the energy. Not that we really have an issue with that. Anyways, yeah, they did get completely wiped out there, guys. So not surprising. It's what I expected. But now we need to go through here and reconquer these systems, and then we'll attack them here. And we should do much better than they did. They're pretty weak. It does keep us from being able to get that victory against them, though. All that combat that I just clicked through, that was another attack here, guys. So they attacked through the wormhole. And it looks like the defense platforms are being built. Alright, so that's fantastic. And it seems that they're only getting the laser and the hangars. Alright, so that's what I wanted to see, guys. Because I don't want the other ones, because they're just not as helpful against these particular enemies. Maybe it's based off what you currently have here, but it's really good that they added these in. I expected they would in a patch, because in the launch version of the game, they did not build them. So yeah, that's excellent. So now we're up to 11 defense platforms, 23,000 current strength, and of course we can upgrade to the next starbase level, but I have to design that, and we're still waiting on getting this research here done before we do that. So we're going to want to send Yellow Eyes to research the debris there, since he's heading back there anyways. Alright, so we're taking over this location. Again, going to be nice and easy. And it's got another event here about that false prophet. Our away team's investigation into the Chosen One has revealed their true identity. It's a super racket caravaneer. Okay, so they went through here and one of them stopped off and decided to play this role as a Chosen One. So they're masquerading as a central figure of the Caravex mythology, having descended from the stars. Further exploration of the planet has revealed their crashed and inoperable ship hidden in an inaccessible valley some distance away from the capital. Based on the dated model of the hyperdrives, they have been here for some time. I did see them fly through here. I don't know if they went through that system, but I guess it makes sense that it's them, since we saw them go through our space not that long ago. But yeah, they've been here for some time. Since becoming marooned, they appear to have been using the local superstition to their advantage. They happily accept veneration and praise from the locals, having been installed as their ruler, full of celestial knowledge. If left unchecked, this charlatan's presence on the planet will likely have heavy consequences for the developing society. It might be best to intervene. So we can expose them as the fraud they are, or offer to rescue them. Yeah, let's offer to rescue them and see what happens there. And then we also finished up the technology here, so we got the ability to remove those tile blockers. And next we're going to finally get that xenobiology. And then we also finished research for the synthetic crystal plants. Don't really need those as much now. We should certainly get the mineral purification next, since it unlocks the specialization for mineral extraction. So that would be helpful, particularly on our capital. Alright, so we're currently gaining control of that. That's going to be the last thing that we do. Then we'll send them over here, and then we'll be attacking this location to finally get control of it. Hopefully we don't take too heavy losses. Our fleet is pretty powerful now, So we'll have to see how they end up doing. At least their fleet has been destroyed, so it's going to take them some time to rebuild that. So we will attack there, but all that is going to be in the next episode, because unfortunately this one is over. With us being at war, we have gone a bit slower. Also had a lot of different things happen, a lot of interesting things. But I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.